Welcome to Civilian Jeeps. Today we're at the Western North Carolina Jeep event in Maggie Valley, North Carolina. Now, this isn't going to be an event where I go around and talk a whole lot. There's live music playing in the background, and I'm not going to be able to talk without YouTube taking this video off. So I'm going to try to do a voiceover on most stuff, but on this video, I'm going to do 1986 and down Jeeps. This is just going to be a compilation of all the Jeeps that I see in that year category down. Well, at this Western North Carolina Jeep Fest, or Jeep event as it's called, there are quite a few JKs, a few JLs, JTs, that sort of thing, a lot of newer Jeeps. Now, I know I'm going to consider older Jeeps, 1986 down, as you know, civilian Jeep ran from 1945, late 45, after the Willis MB, and it ended in 1986 with American Motors owning the company. But I mean, I have a soft spot for YJs as well, and TJs. I have an LJ myself, and even though they're Chrysler, I'm not going to have them in this video. What I consider old school Jeeps is 1986 and below. However, I did throw some full-size Jeeps in there. You'll see a little later, there was a Golden Eagle J10 that was just absolutely immaculate. It's in here, and there's a full-size Cherokee. Now, if you hang around till the end, there's like a conglomeration of, looks like a postal Jeep and a few other manufacturers that this guy just meshed into one Jeep. But we'll get to that. That's at the very end of the video. So stick around if you want to see that crazy build. But real quick, some stuff about this event. This is held in Maggie Valley, and that's Western North Carolina, if you're not for sure where Maggie Valley is located. And I did come to this event in 2023, and honestly, I really enjoyed it. It was a nice local event, tons of nice Jeeps. The J10 Twister themed Jeep was there. Immaculate two-spec Jurassic Park Jeep was there, and I mean, there was just so many, built LJs, a lot of built stuff. But this year, I was kind of let down a little bit. I'm not going to lie. It seems like there was a lot more pavement princess type Jeeps. And, if your Jeep's like that, I mean, I don't mean to offend you. Lord knows we can't do that. It's 2024. I don't want to get, canceled for offending somebody with their angry grill and sticker across the hood that don't make any sense and their 50 ducks glued to the dash. But that's why I'm trying to just focus on CJs. So if you do have a JK, no hard feelings. I mean, it is what it is. But it seemed like this event was just overrun by that. Primarily the vendor area as well. I mean, so in the past, last year, it seemed like there was a lot more actual vendors geared towards Jeeps. And this year, it felt like an arts and crafts show. I mean, here's your tumbler and, a custom bracelet if you want it. But, I mean, we can put Jeep on your bracelet. But it was just a different feel. So I don't know that I'll be going back to this event in 2025. However, I did find quite a few nice CJs. Not as many as I found last year. It seems like that the old school Jeep crowd is dwindled down a little bit from this event. But there are quite a few older CJs, as you're seeing. And a lot of them were just absolutely stunning. Like this Golden Eagle CJ right here. I talked to the guy for a little while. He didn't pop the hood, but it does have the 258 inline 6 in it. And he builds these Jeeps and then will sell them and build another one. And he said that he don't plan on keeping this Jeep very long. But you can see him there shining it up. It was an extremely nice Jeep. Now, this Jeep, Faster with Newbern and Cotton, it's been on YouTube, and I think it's even going to be on the Tough Truck Challenge. I talked to this guy for a while because I brought my postal Jeep to this event, and there was quite a few things to talk about just because these postal Jeeps are so cool when they're swapped. This postal Jeep actually is a TJ basically, and it's been swapped over with a DJ body. Now he's making it right-hand drive. He said he even had some tons for it, which will be really cool. It has a Curry the 9-inch, the Curry 9-inch in the rear, and that is extremely cool. Has the Dana 30 still in the front, but I think that Jeep is going to be just killer whenever he gets those 1 tons in it, especially with it being linked. The linked system is a lot better than leaf springs that I've got on Going Postal. But who knows? Maybe one day I might link Going Postal because it sure needs it. But anyway, I'll transfer over to here this CJ. And one thing that I really do like about this CJ is just how clean it is. However, I don't like the fiberglass front clip where you have to pull it up like a semi. I've never been a big fan of that. I just feel like that's kind of a nuisance and takes away from the actual Jeep theme for a CJ. But let's go ahead and talk about this old Willis pickup. Now, this thing is absolutely rad. It had the moonshine jar for their overflow reservoir. The paint sucks, but who cares? Like, when you drive something this cool, your paint can be absolute trash, but it's not. It's broken poor garage, according to the door there, and this thing's got patina galore. Now, while we're on the topic of paint, you can see that this Jeep has been Line-X. Now, if you don't want to worry about going through the woods, just blazing down a tight trail, this Line-X would be perfect. Now, I about bet, though, the Line-X was a darker red, and it's a little faded. Something about the pigment in Line-X seems to fade pretty easy. Now, I'm not saying that this is Line-X. It might be some type of other truck bed coating, but it's definitely one that can be tinted. As you can see, it's not black, it's red. But check out how clean the frame is and undercarriage, and I really like how he's got the wide offset, kind of like my CJ7. Now, when you're looking at this, Laredo Cherokee right here, it's an 82, it's got 182,000 miles on it, which you really can't tell because of the condition of this thing. Whenever I was there, I did look up under the frame. I forgot to video it, and it was relatively clean. Like, this is a clean, solid Laredo full-size Cherokee. Now, this old Willis looks like maybe a 3A for the windshield. It says for sale, although they really didn't give any contact information, which I thought was kind of strange. But that old Willis Jeep right there is for sale, and it is extremely nice. Check out the frame on that. My 46 that I had didn't look anywhere close to that. It was a little on the rusty and crusty side. Now, here's another flat fender 3A, and I did talk to this guy for a while. He's a pretty cool guy. We talked over there at my Postal Jeep about his Jeep and, the stuff he's owned. He lives near Windrock in a little place called Dutch Valley, right outside of Oliver Springs, and I really enjoyed looking at his little, I think it was a 49 CJ3A, and he's had other Jeeps over the years, but he worked his way up to this flat fender. But he was telling me that he took that flat fender down the interstate with it raining, and it has a 283 under the hood, and he said he was doing 68, and his windshield wipers weren't working, wasn't getting the rain off the windshield, and he had to poke his head out the window, or out the actual windshield, and see where he was going, which I thought that was kind of funny. That's a true Jeep person right there. Don't pull over, just, improvise. But as you can see with this, well, it looked to be an older and maybe Golden Eagle, that black one. It had the half doors. I'm kind of jealous of that. I'd love to have me a good set of hard half doors for either my LJ or the CJ. I'm pretty, open either one. I would just love to have hard half doors again. I had them for an old YJ that I had, and there's just something about them. I do have soft doors that you can take the uppers off, but they still don't compare to hard half doors. And I think the Jeepers in the community are recognizing this, because if you go on Marketplace or wherever you find your local deals, a hard half door is probably not going to be a deal that you find, because everybody and the brother thinks they're sitting on gold if they got a hard half door that goes on an older model Jeep. And even the newer model Jeeps, the Mopar half doors, they've really surprised me with how expensive they are. If you want half doors for a 4-door JK, you're probably looking at easily $2,000 to $3,000, which is a little nuts, but I guess it's supply and demand. But anyway, let's get back to the CJs. So here's the electric lime green CJ7. It looks like it has the Holley Sniper EFI. Let me know what you guys think about fuel injection on an older CJ compared to a carburetor. I honestly have thought about taking my Edelbrock 1406 off and putting this Holley Sniper system on it, just to kind of give it that reliability standpoint. I don't really know if I want to do that, because carburetors, if something messes up in them, you can easily rejet them or clean them or whatever needs to happen to get it back on the road. It's not so much with the fuel injection because you have your idle air control, you have your throttle position sensor. They're just computerized, so you never know what you're going to get. However, they do run a lot smoother. I'm sure you're going to get a little more horsepower out of them because they're just so much more efficient. So that is something I'm curious to hear about with, the CJ community and the debate between carburetors and electronic fuel injection. Now, if you haven't figured it out in this video yet, this is just kind of me rambling on. I mean, I've went and showcased quite a few of these CJs, but I'm trying to make this fast pace where I can show as many as possible and still keep the time limit of this video down. So I'm not even going to go into trying to tell you everything about each CJ that I found. I just want you to see it and soak it in for yourself. And if you have any questions, maybe I've seen something that you'd like to know more about on a certain specific CJ. I did really like this CJ5 though. It's very tasteful. You can tell it's more of like a resto mod, the headlights and the Badland winch. You know that's not 1986 and down. But as you can see here, this is gone postal. This is my 1982 LS Swap Curry 60 High Pinion 44 out of a Ford F-150, I think a 79. And there's been a lot of work went into this thing, and I do actually have it for sale if you're interested in it. I'll go around and show you the for sale sign here in a minute. I can't keep 3 Jeeps, to be completely honest with you. I just have no need for the 3 Jeeps, nor do I have the time anymore with a newborn at the house. But I think it will kill me a little inside whenever I sell this thing, because I absolutely love this Jeep. I've followed it for years. The build process started, I believe, in 2013 by a guy named Chad Edmondson, and I followed it through when it got issued in Crawl magazine, and I just love this Jeep. But let's go back and talk about this J10 real quick. Now, this J10, I really like how, solid it is, given that it's not been restored. And a lot of these J10s, the body panels, the way they were molded on, have a lot of seams in them, and dust and dirt and debris and just water and all kinds of crap gets into them, and they eventually just rot out. So that's why you don't see too many solid J10s with the original body panels. It's just the way they were designed. But this one, there's rust spots here and there, and the interior's pretty decent in it. I talked to him for a little while, and he removed the towel on the seat, and there's some wear in the seat cushion, but this thing has a lot of patina, and I really like the look of it. Now, this guy, he had just got into the whole CJ game. He had a Ford rat rod, or he said hot rod. Not necessarily a rat rod. I think it was like a Model T hot rod, which is kind of contradicting in my book, but a Model T, I guess if you soup it up enough, it can be a hot rod. So he ended up trading that hot rod for this CJ. So he was trying to get into the whole CJ lifestyle here, and I think he's got a really good platform. It looked like a very nice CJ5. Now, while I was talking to him, an older gentleman come up and was talking about an all CJ ride that's going to be going on at the Great Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion. It's going to be leaving out Friday, I believe he said at 8, but he said there's a website out there that really talks about everything you need to know about this CJ ride. So I guess Google all CJ ride, a Great Smoky Mountain Jeep event. He said it should be about 50 to 60 miles long, and it's going to leave out, I believe he said around 10 on Friday morning at the end of August, whenever Jeep Invasion is for 2024. So it should be a pretty cool time. I might try to go if I take my CJ7. Now, I did get spotted a few times at this show, which I thought was kind of neat. I've never had that before. Some subscribers come up to me and said, hey, and if you're ever out like that, come up to me as well. Now, this Jeep conglomeration type thing is one of the weirdest Jeeps I've ever seen. It has a Ford sedan front clip, a Ford truck grill on it, a DJ5 Mel Jeep cab, a J10 chassis, an international bed on it. Overall, it's just completely unique, and I really do like it. I mean, you're not going to see another one on the road, that's for sure. But, if you've enjoyed this, let me know in the comments below. Hopefully the JK people can forgive me and don't, try to start a riot at my house with their angry grills and stuff. I'm going to go ahead and leave this off here. I hope you've enjoyed it, and keep it classic.